super excited, fired up. They were number one in securities. And and so many more people. I mean, obviously the great Oral Richards, when he started 17 and didn't have a reason to stay, but stood. Today's at $500,000 of income. So let's just stand out and be powerful. The talent that starts to rise over time. But first, you've got to set the example. You got to get after it. You got to be willing to go out there and talk to people. You got to eliminate your fears. You got to get away from excusing yourself from doing the work and realizing that you got to get after this thing. How serious are you actually about building a real Primerica business? A lot of times people say, yeah, I'm in, but you're really not in, you're out, okay? And the times that we say that we're really in, we're not working through the process of getting out there and prospecting people, getting on appointments, getting referrals, and keep on doing that process. But you have to set the example. You got to be the one. How many times I used to go and take out Chris H. on an appointment, and we knock on the door and be on the appointment. I said, please don't be home. And then I look at him, and he look at me, and he said, yes, this is good. And I'm like, please don't be home. Then they would knock on the door and wait and walk in. I said, awesome, here we go. And we went, did a presentation. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. And we did a presentation, didn't know we had to take information, and we didn't get kicked out. We were excited. We were two excited idiots, I promise you that, okay? They were like, man, they didn't kick us out. This is amazing. We're excited. We were like, no business. Because we didn't know how to do an appointment, okay? And today, you guys have polished leaders that know how to do an appointment. Get on an appointment. Get referrals. And we were just trying. We were trying to win. Trying to find a way to win. And we just wanted to win so bad that it hurt. And we were just following through the guidance of Joe Enser and obviously the awesome Keith Otto and Roy Lipson. I mean, we couldn't do this business without Roy Lipson. Roy Lipson has always been a tremendous cheerleader. I tell you, we appreciate them so much because he always said, we actually build that faith and believe in ours to get after it. And we have so many great leaders here. Obviously, Tony and Shelley, believe it or not, me and Shelley do Zooms like a couple times a week and go out there and setting up appointments and getting stuff still today. Okay? And that's something that we also are actively moving forward. And we built this business, started in New York, then we went to Arizona for 23 years, and now we're building it in Florida again, okay? Woo! You can't build it once, okay? We do it for the third time. And you gotta decide that it's your time, it's your opportunity, you're here to win. You're not gonna excuse yourself from doing what you need to do. Eliminate your excuses. I promise you great things will happen. I could do this business without my partner, is the awesome Ray Costello.
Now, what does make it mean? What does make it mean, my brother? It means you get to the promised land. The promised land to me is $300,000 a year in income to you in overrides. Where you're not going out to the mall, mauling people. Where you're not out making phone calls, prospecting and trying to get an appointment. Where you're not doing an appointment, where you're not having to get an IBA to hit your bonus. You make $300,000 in overrides. Whether you get up out of bed and go to the office or not, $300,000 hit your checking account. That's freedom and the beginning of freedom. But if you don't believe that's going to happen for you, it won't. It won't. teachers talk a lot about 1,440 minutes a day, 24 hours a day, 8 days a day. How much of those 1,440 minutes are you investing to get to your promised land? Because I say 300,000 in promised land, because I know once we got to 300,000, it was like, man, it's real. But when you get there, if you get there by yourself, even though you have ownership, you don't own it. Because if you stop, it stops. The key is getting people to want to copy what you're doing. And to do that, you gotta be good when it comes to the business. If you ain't good looking in the business, ain't nobody attracted to you. Remember when you all single and you go out? Would you go out to a club or a place and look for the ugliest person in the room? Would you go, oh, that girl's ugly, I'm gonna go back to the club. Then when you see a guy that's the ugliest guy in the room and you go, no! You look for the most good looking, right? Well, how are you good looking in Prime America? In Prime America today, everybody has access to POL. They can pay $50 to get POL. So you a dumb one if you don't get POL the day you put in your idea. But you know what happens when they get POL? They start experimenting on POL. And then they look at your income. And you may be in the office and district, and they go, man, I'm so excited, this is awesome. Oh, man, I'm doing a great business. And then they look at your income, you made $50 last month. That's not good looking. If your upline is making $50 a month, would you be like, I can't wait to be like them to get this? That ain't good looking, right? So what are we saying? You gotta make money today. But don't forget why we're here. I honestly believe the great Jones had genius in a lot of the teachings he taught us. When we got started, we were not allowed to write business. You couldn't write business until you got your securities license. Imagine if the company did that to you, and you only had your recruiter's license until you get your security license. How many of you are not security licensed right now? Raise your hand. Then all of you would be real recruiters. You would freaking have yes. You would have people putting their IDAs, and you would show them how to get IDAs, and you show them how to get IDAs, you show them how to talk to people to get the IDAs. You'd learn how to build a team. Because you have no other option. Thank God Joe did that with us. Because let me tell you something. How many of you remember that I've ever made $1,000 in a month? How many of you remember the first time you made $1,000 in a month? Nobody forgets that. When you do your first common dance, you never forget that. And then you think about, what did I have to do to make that? And then you compare it to your job you have. And you're like, I gotta work 2.5 weeks to make $1,000 take from my job. And I made $1,000 in 25 minutes. My cousin and his best friend. I gotta go full time. Now my question is to you, for those of you that want to go full time, are you gonna go full time? F-U-L-L? Or F-O-O-L? Full time.
Full or full time?
There's a difference. If you're willing to become an expert in your presentation for prospecting, an expert. An expert means you don't doubt what you're going to say, and you don't doubt any question that you could respond to if any person asks you that question. You are like a Navy SEAL, parachuting into a war zone, and you don't care how many of the enemy is out there, you're going to take them out. That's the difference. Do you put the time to learn You can't allow time to pass by and you don't fix it. You're all adults. You're all adults. And that, I think, is the biggest challenge in America, because you're all adults. You have all this good stuff in your brains that's spoiled by the people in your environment raising you. What do you mean, right? How many of you have kids, grandkids? When you see your grandbaby or your child for the first time, oh, you can do anything you want to, son. You can be the president before. And then that kid turns 7 years old, they're in the back making noise. You don't shut up! You know, every time growing up, I heard children are supposed to be seen and not heard. So Carol was on me. But you got to become good at doing what we do. If you're not sure how to prospect, grab hold of your phone, sit down with a recorder with them, and ask them what you should say to prospect. Then write it down. This is how I memorize stuff. I don't know if it'll help people. I don't know a formula for memorization of scripts, names, and anything you want to memorize. Write it down 21 times. Say it 21 times. And then listen to it 21 times. You will never forget it. But you can't listen to it 21 times and hear in the background, my neck, my focus. You gotta focus on listening. You gotta focus on learning. You gotta focus on fixing whatever it is you need to fix. If you have trouble with the presentation, grab hold of it, sit down, write it down, record it, and then listen to that over and over and over. What did John Adams say, right? That is what all of you have a song in your mind that if we play the notes right now, and you heard the first couple of notes, you'd be like, that's the song. Nobody pays you on the words of that song. Why are you going to learn and put time to learn our song and our dance so you can...
Let's get it!